Imagine your own body becoming your greatest enemy. A terrifying disorder where the mind loses control and the night becomes a living nightmare.
Imagine waking up in the dead of night to find a hand suddenly attacking you. You struggle to breathe, and as your eyes adjust to the dark, you realize the horrifying truth. The hand that grasps your own throat is yours. This sounds like a plot from a cheap horror movie, but it is a documented medical reality called alien hand syndrome. It raises a terrifying question about the human body. How can a limb you've controlled your entire life suddenly develop a mind of its own and turn against you? The answer lies in a specific design flaw inside your skull. While we experience life as a single person, we are powered by two distinct hemispheres that can, under specific conditions, operate entirely on their own. Usually, these two sides are in constant communication through a massive, high-speed neural highway called the corpus callosum. We've known this connection could break since 1908, when Dr. Kurt Goldstein treated a woman who suffered a stroke in this region. Soon after, her left hand began acting as if it had a separate will, ignoring her conscious commands entirely. In modern medicine, surgeons sometimes have to deliberately sever this highway. To stop life-threatening epileptic seizures from spreading across the brain, they literally cut the corpus callosum. Once that connection is gone, the patient wakes up as a split-brain individual, one body housing two consciousnesses that can no longer speak to one another. Take the case of patient W.G. He was a World War II paratrooper who suffered from debilitating convulsions. In 1962, he became the first person to undergo this full brain-splitting surgery. After he recovered, scientists Michael Gazzaniga and Roger Sperry put his new divided mind to the test with a simple block design puzzle. When they asked WJ to solve it using only his right hand, he couldn't do it. The hand fumbled with the blocks, appearing totally lost. But his left hand, controlled by the brain's right hemisphere, could solve the puzzle with ease. It even reached out to help the fumbling right hand, as if it were watching a stranger fail at a simple task. This provided the first concrete proof that two separate mental control systems were actively competing for dominance within the same body. We see an even more extreme example in the modern case of Karen Byrne, who had the same surgery to treat her epilepsy. Her left hand began acting with a shocking level of intent. If she tried to light a cigarette, the hand would snatch it away and put it out, or flick the ashes across the room against her will. The syndrome turned violent when the hand began repeatedly smacking her across the face, sometimes hitting her hard enough to leave her black and blue. Doctors realized the right hemisphere had absorbed cultural messages about smoking and cursing. The alien hand wasn't just moving randomly, it was physically punishing her for behavior that the right side of her brain disapproved of. This shows that severing the brain's connection does more than disrupt movement. It reveals that the right hemisphere can maintain its own independent moral judgments and act on them, even if those actions harm the patient. You don't need a surgeon's scalpel to see this division in action. Your brain is naturally capable of shutting down in halves. Think about the last time you slept in a hotel room and woke up feeling exhausted. Neurologists call this the first night effect. Just like birds and dolphins, humans have an evolutionary defense mechanism where one hemisphere stays awake and alert to guard against predators, while the other half sleeps deeply. Even in a healthy, intact brain, the two halves can operate on two completely different levels of consciousness at the same time. In extreme cases, this localized sleep leads to somnambulism, or sleepwalking. During these episodes, the motor cortex, the part of the brain that controls physical movement, wakes up completely. This allows a person to walk, cook, or even drive. But the prefrontal cortex, where your conscious decision-making lives, remains in a state of deep, paralyzed sleep. The result is a biological machine operating on autopilot. The body moves and reacts to the world, but the person you think of as you is effectively absent. These cases suggest that our sense of a unified, singular self may be more fragile than we think. In the complex system of the human brain, the conscious mind is often just a passenger, along for a ride it doesn't always control.
If this story stayed with you, there are more waiting. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next one.